Tantillo, and this is Brand Talk, another way to talk where there's no shouting, there's no yelling, there's no screaming, just good old conversation and good old talk. And by the way, you can see us every Thursday at 3 p.m. And the best way to find us is on YouTube, Dr. John Tantillo's YouTube channel, and also on Facebook Live, John Tantillo. So, and if you have any problems with that, just give us an email to me at doc@johntantillo.com, and we'll try to fix that up. And today we have a treat for you. And just don't think I say that every week, because today, right before I went on today, we were, my guest and I were having so much fun. And I feel like I've known this guest for over 10 years, and I just met him. That's the kind of man that this man is. And let me just say, as a dynamic and motivational speaker and award-winning author of Living Motivated, The Beatitudes of Living a Motivated Life, Dr. Walter Sims knows what it takes to live a life on purpose. A spiritual leader by profession, Dr. Sims holds a master's of ministry, a doctorate of divinity, as well as a professional life coach certification. Dr. Sims aims at empowering individuals towards significant increases in self-esteem, focus, clarity, and productivity by helping them realize their life's purpose. It is with great pleasure that I introduce my new friend, colleague, Dr. Walter Sims. Dr. Sims, welcome to Brand Talk. How are you, young man?
I am I'm just humbled by that introduction, man, and I consider you as a friend as well, man. Thank you for having me today.
Oh man, I got to tell you something. It just gives me such pleasure to have somebody that has gone through your journey. And we're gonna talk a little bit about that, and deal with the fact that life isn't easy. That most of our lives are like the book of Job. And if those of our listeners that aren't familiar with Job, Job is the book where everything goes wrong for this character.
Yeah, okay? Exactly.
And boy, I like the saying, everybody's entitled to at least 10 bad years.
At least. That's right. That's right.
Okay. So with that, welcome to Brand Talk. And I'd like to begin. When you get up in the morning, how do you get started? I mean, you're supposed to be the motivational speaker. What does this motivational speaker do to start his day off right?
I was just talking about that this morning on my daily broadcast, that one of the things that I'm an advocate of is just waking up with a spirit of gratitude. But a lot of times, as a motivator, as an entrepreneur, I was guilty today of, you hit the ground running. I had my mind getting ready for you. I had some other things I had to take care of. And when I did my daily broadcast, I had to kind of spank my hand because I forgot to say Lord, thank you. And I usually fix me a cup of coffee, Starbucks, house blend, of course. I get my coffee. I get my thoughts ready for my daily broadcast and just go through the routine of my day, set my intentions for the day. But the long and short of it is I start every day, and it's my habit to start with gratitude and just being thankful for the gift of another day, John.
Yeah. Well, I love you even more because I can't, I shouldn't say this. I love, I love the coffee that you mentioned. I love, not Starbucks. It's the one that you mentioned. I love
Right.
that coffee. And I was going to say, the first thing I do when I wake up is have my cup of coffee before I even thank God. I'm going to go, please God, don't strike me. But I
I
mean, the
know,
first
right?
thing, am I
It,
right? I
it's
mean, but
definitely close.
you,
It's close,
but
man.
you taught me something, and that is be grateful for the day.
That's right.
I love that. I really, really, really love that.
That's
That is
huge.
so true.
It's huge. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's huge. I I have several books, and one of the books is a 21-day devotion to becoming a more positive person. And in one of the chapters, one of the main doses in that chapter is living a life of positivity, and a big piece of that is being grateful, John.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And what is this with young people being negative? I don't get
It
it.
blows my mind.
You gotta
Blows
be
my mind.
positive. What are you doing? You're 20 years old, 25 years old, 40 years old, and you're coming up with negatives. Not
I,
good.
I,
Please,
I,
doctor.
blows my mind. And you and I are in pretty much the same ballpark with age, and you can understand this. When we were in school, let's say when we were in school and we had to do a research paper, we had to go to the library. We had to go through those huge
Oh,
encyclopedias. We had to have 10 references, and it was a chore just to do a research paper. Now, with technology, now you have a wealth of knowledge in the palm of your hand. Oh my goodness, it's light years ahead of where you and I come from, just with technology. And don't talk about driving. We used to, if you planned a trip, you had to stop by your AAA office, get maps and map it out, highlight your route, and where you were going was not on the map, so you had to stop by a gas station and ask the attendant for directions. And now all you have to do, John, is put in a direction in your phone, and it maps out the directions, the time. And I mean, man, life is so much easier now versus when you and I were coming up, that life should be a breeze now, John.
yeah. I couldn't agree more. And let me ask you, what do you think is your brand? What comes to mind? Are you a pastor? Are you a motivational speaker? Are you a theologian? What would be the best descriptor of what you are? As I like to ask my students, in 3 words or less, what comes to mind that best describes your brand?
Well, I was at a leadership. I was at a speaker leadership conference in Las Vegas a couple of years ago, and one of the speakers, who was an ex football player, talked about that very thing. And I mean, when I left there, it rang throughout my spirit. I said, just like you just did, all of the things that I do, what's the common thread? And I am America's number one personal development expert. And that covers the gamut of everything that I do, because it is my job, my calling, my my heart's desire is to encourage people to be the very best version of themselves that they can be.
Wow. Say that one more time. I missed it. What was the descriptive? You
I
just said
am
it.
I am America's number one personal development expert because
A
as a
personal.
pastor,
I love it. Very
yeah,
good.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That is just one beautiful thing, because the whole thing that what we wanted, what we try, well, what I try to do with my students, and I look at it that way, is you want to help them to be the best versions of themselves. Maybe you
that's
could
right.
talk about that.
That's exactly right. I'm a again, I'm 54. I just turned 54 last
Happy
month.
happy
And
birthday.
thank you. And I love Rocky. I've seen Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Every Rocky they made, I watched it. Now, in Rocky 4, Rocky's best friend, Apollo Creed, got
Yes.
killed. And so several years later, Apollo Creed had an illegitimate son, and his name was Adonis Creed, and he was a boxer.
Right.
He had a big fight coming up, but he went and found Rocky and told Rocky, I am not going to fight unless you train me. So one day they were in the gym and he was boxing in front of the mirror. And Rocky, and this is where I'm going, Rocky told him, your greatest opponent, your greatest challenger is that man looking back at you at the mirror. And that's what I challenge people with, John. Your greatest adversary is that person that you stare in the mirror at every day, because what your challenge is to be better tomorrow than you are today. And that has so many challenges associated with it. It's a challenge being a better you than you are right now.
Yeah. That's just simply wonderful. We're talking to Dr. Walter Sims. This is Brand Talk. You can hear us every Thursday at 3 o'clock on either YouTube, Dr. John Tantillo, or on John Tantillo's Facebook page. So when it comes to being in the dumps, or
Okay.
having what we used to say in theology, the dark side of the soul, or the
Right.
dark,
Right.
where um, the kids are bothering us.
Right.
Things didn't go, you missed that motivational speak you were going to
Right.
get. How do you deal with disappointment?
That is such a great question. I get that question a lot because um, people are looking to us, you, me, and those of us that claim that we have some idea of how this thing called life works. That was really the inspiration behind Walk in Purpose, Grow Rich, a practical guide to figuring out what your purpose is. Because my big answer to that question is simply, if you know why you are here, that's the thing that keeps you motivated and keeps you going and helps ramp you up when you find yourself in the dumps. Um, Les Brown, one of my mentors, um, says this: the two most important days in a man's life is the day that he was born and the day that he figures out why. We're
Wow.
all under contract. We're all under contract. When God gives us life, John, he puts us under contract. We are we are charged to do something. And that something is what should drive us. You're brand talk. You're all things brand. I'm purpose. I'm all things purpose. And once you get in the lane that God has designed for you, that's your why. That gives you the inspiration, the motivation, the drive, the reason to wake up in the morning. Your purpose is that thing that keeps you up at night, that helps you jump out of the bed in the morning, because when your why is big enough, that's all the motivation that you need. And I have another saying, John, that says passions fade, purpose remains the same. You
Oh,
and I have been passionate about a lot of things, but passions wane. There are things that I've been passionate about I'm not doing anymore, but my purpose drives me every day. And my purpose, again, is to help people figure out why they're here. But to answer your question, what keeps me going is knowing that I'm fulfilling my why each and every day that I live. And every day that I wake up, I get an opportunity to do that. You know what I'm saying?
yes, I do. I do. Now, was there a time in your life that you said, "Gee, God, why did you give me this cross to bear? Why did you do this to me now?
Right.
Why?" I mean, everything was going really well, and then X happened. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Well, yeah. We were talking we were talking pre-production, and we were talking about some of my credentials. My father was a pastor, and so you could probably imagine every week, every Sunday, everybody would tell my dad after church, "Oh, your son, little Walter, your son Walter, he's gonna preach just like you." And so
Mhm.
being inside that lifestyle, I did not want to have anything to do with being a preacher, pastor, because I knew the ins and outs of that. So I ran from it. So my senior year in high school, I did a research paper on electrical engineering. And since I was good in math and science,
I
I
love it.
went and pursued that in college. And so when I graduated from college, I got a job at a nuclear plant and I moved to the city that I'm in now. And I spent time as an electrical engineer. But in that process, early on in my engineering career, I started hanging out with some young preachers. And one night I was at a church service, and it's like the heavens opened up and the Lord spoke, said, "You are called to preach the gospel. You are called to help people and to motivate people," and that kind of started the ball rolling. And this has been 30 plus years. And what makes my heart heavy, John, and I believe you can attest to this, what really breaks my heart, and I kind of scratch my head sometimes. I say, "Lord, why do you have me on this journey?" Is when I run across people that don't want my help. Their lives are in shambles, but they do not want any help from me. And my great what hurts me the most is wanting more for somebody than they want for themselves. And so to answer your question, my heart hurts, and I challenge and question God, why don't they see it for themselves? And that's just that burden that I bear as I help people. But when I do help people and that light bulb comes on,
Hmm.
that kind of centers me again, and
Yeah.
that makes it all worthwhile.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned your father and the second thoughts that you had about being a preacher, because when I met Joel Osteen, uh,
Right.
we talked a little bit about that,
That's right.
and he talks about uh, being a preacher, and at first he didn't want any part of it. he
That's right.
wanted he wanted to be behind the scenes, and then when his father passed away unexpectedly,
Right.
it was in front of him, what should I do?
That's
And
right.
when I one of the things that I try to do when I meet celebrities and people who are successful at what they do is to find something that is going to resonate with them. And
Yeah.
when I said to him was, it's wonderful how you made this ministry your ministry and not your dad's ministry.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
he took my hand, shook it, okay, and said, "John, that was very kind of you." And I'll never forget that. And
Amen.
I'm sure that's what happened with you too.
That's it. That's exactly right. And my dad passed about 5 years ago, and one of our last
I
conversations
love it.
that we had, he told me how proud he was of me,
Oh,
and
yes.
um, a lot of my friends, a lot of his colleagues, when I would come home and spend time with everybody, a lot of his friends would tell me offline how much he talked about me. When I wasn't around, how much he bragged on me. So it's that makes me feel good.
Yeah, and if I can underscore that your electrical engineering degree helped
Yeah.
you to be a better preacher.
That man, all the examples, and believe it, yeah, since you said that, let me chase this little rabbit. Since you said that, during a lot of our study groups when I was working on my bachelor's of science degree, when we would go over different theories and stuff, I would make the analogies, the spiritual analogy, the
Oh,
physical analogy, to help drive home the principle. And a lot of my classmates will look at me and like, how did you do that? And that would help us understand the concepts. And so, yeah, man, being an electrical engineer has definitely helped me be a better speaker and preacher, teacher, and all that good stuff.
right. My journey in this was that it took me a while to begin to believe in myself, and it started because I was an overweight child. Uh,
Okay.
I wasn't the best at sports. So what the way I had to kind of get in with the guys is to tell jokes
Right.
and to be funny.
Right.
Now, when I did that, I wasn't taken seriously.
Understand.
And
Understand.
so what people would say to me, I never knew you were that smart.
I,
I never knew you were that smart. Gee whiz, John.
I get, yeah, I get that too. I get that too, because what I use as a professional speaker and pastor, I use humor, and
Yes,
that tool allows you to really get your points across, because it people relax in the sense that their defenses are down. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And so
Sure.
laughter is a strength in what you and I do, because it gets people. That's a common thing. All of us love to laugh, and so once you get people laughing, then you can drive your points home. And a lot of times people have pulled me aside and said, Dr. Sam, okay, I didn't see that from you, being okay, you got that silliness, but you okay, I see you, Dr. Sims. And so I can associate with that, Brother John.
Oh, Brother John. That's what they used to call me. I was Brother John Tantillo, OSF. I was a
Yeah.
Franciscan brother. That was another part of my life
Right.
that but let me get back, because this is something that I that happened to me about in 2010. In 2010, I lost my business. I lost
Okay.
everything. I lost
Okay.
everything. And I was very, very, very depressed. I mean, um, I was depressed, and I didn't really know what to do.
Right.
And what happened was, and nobody wanted to help me. Nobody.
Right.
Everybody just turned their back on me. And one. There were two people. One was my dear friend Colleen, and another one was Dr. Lou Primavera. And so I shouldn't say that nobody, but when it seems like there's nobody,
Oh
and
yes.
what I would like you to do is, what do you tell your flock, or your patients, or those people who come to you with problems, how do you get them over that tough period?
Well, I can, again, I can definitely relate to that because I started my business in 2010 and still working a 40-hour week job at the nuclear plant. But in 2015, April 17th, I was fired from that job,
Oh,
and I was teaching in my life coaching business, teaching people to live in faith and don't be afraid and do it scared and jump. And so I was still working a full-time job. And so I was not practicing what I was teaching and preaching. And so I believe the universe, God gave me the left foot of fellowship, and I got fired and released from that job, and looked like everything just took off from that. And in that same year, I was audited by the IRS.
oh,
I filed bankruptcy. My dad died that same year, and in parallel to that, I was praying. I said, "Lord, make me a wise person."
yes.
And little did I know, in order to become a wise person, you got to go through something. And so, what I tell people, John, when life happens, when adversity happens, then you look in the mirror and ask the question, am I living on purpose? And that's one of the things that I have been stressing during this shutdown, during this quarantine. Are you really doing that thing that God wants you to do? Because one of the worst regrets in the world is to climb to the top of your mountain only to find out it's the wrong mountain. And that in and of itself should and what, to answer your question, I help people with reinvention, and you should allow this opportunity. When you get back to zero, now it's time to build upon that and go to even higher heights. And so what I do when people come to me with this dilemma, i.e., life has happened to you, let's look in the mirror. Let's look at our resume. What have you done to this point in time? Now, if you are living in your purpose, now take that to another level. Be a consultant, be a teacher, write some books to help people understand how to do what you're doing. But if there's a disconnect from your resume and what you have supposed to been doing, you got some gaps, you got some disconnects, and you need to be doing the thing that God has called you to do with some urgency.
Yeah. Well, I think the folks at Nike have it right. Just do it.
Yeah,
And one of the
exactly.
things that you can't do is you can't feel sorry for yourself. And one of
Amen.
the things that I did during this period is I engaged in social media. And
There
at
you go.
that time, I had maybe 1,000 Twitter followers.
Okay.
And
Okay.
today, just the other day, David said that I had 50,000. It's now down to 49,950. But where, but that's, but what happened is I just did it. And I
Amen.
mean,
Amen.
you got to do it. You got to brush, Sinatra's had it right. You brush yourself off, you get back up and start all over again. You
That's
got
right.
to do that, and when you have God in your life, and I
Yes, sir.
don't want to take away your energy from that. That's what you do.
That's right.
But that when you have God in your life, you do things. It gives you that added boost.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right, John. And that's something that I promote. Nike has said it so very well and so succinctly. Just do it, and you got to do it in the face of fear. And courage is not the absence of fear; it's the ability to do it in the face of fear. And we see a lot of courageous people in our society and our generations. And John, I'm proud of you for getting up and dusting yourself off and doing it. And I applaud you for that. And that's what I
Well,
encourage
thank
people
you.
to do. Just do it. Just do it because since I'm pro positive, since I'm so positive, I tell people don't look at what might happen in the negative, look at what the possibilities are in the positive. Don't look at what might fail, look at what might succeed. Come on, somebody.
Oh, I agree. Now, how do you deal with the geniuses, or I like to call them the kids, the know-it-alls, who will say to you, "Well, that's very Pollyanna. That's how. That's all. That's too syrupy and sweet. Life isn't that way." That's what I sometimes get. You're too Pollyanna. How do you respond when the geniuses say that to you?
Well, again, I welcome those kinds of conversations because I have the data in my favor that amplifies what I'm saying and what I'm preaching and what I'm teaching. You just look at anybody that's been successful, and they will tell you they had little or nothing. They had they had obstacles, they had hurdles. Life happened to them, but they persevered. They did not give up.
Oh,
There's a book. There's a
yeah.
book called 3 Feet from Gold, and in that book, it talks about giving up too soon. And again, an electrical principle. Life is all about polarity. Life is all about attraction. Life is all about what you think about grows. And so, if you focus on the negative, things that are negative are going to keep coming to you. But if you focus on the positive, positive things are going to happen. And that's just how life is set up. You're not going to have too much good. You're not going to have too much bad. It balances out, and you just got to live in hope. That's all we have, John. We live in hope. And I just choose, and I tell people, being positive, living in hope, walking by faith, it's a choice. And I just choose the positive and not the negative.
Oh, God bless you, brother. Let me tell you, that we're listening to Dr. Walter Sims, All Things Purposeful, here on Brand Talk, another way to talk. And I hope you're getting the good vibes here. We're not yelling, we're not screaming, that we're not telling
Amen.
other people that they're terrible. What we're
That's right.
doing is having good old warm conversation. We're thinking before we're speaking,
That's right.
and
That's right.
we're listening of what the other person is in fact saying. You can't get better than that. Um,
That's
it's
right.
funny that I remember I was like 15 or 16 years old, and it was my sister, my mother, my father, and we went upstate New York.
Okay.
I don't remember the name of the lodge we went to, but we went to breakfast the next day, and my mother said, "Boy, I was listening to a conversation to the people next door,
Okay.
and it was a nice, calm, intellectual conversation without
Right. Right.
yelling and screaming." Now, you have
Amen.
to understand, with my mother and father, it was yelling and screaming. but but and I'm not saying it was anybody's fault. It was
I
just she
understand. Understand.
realized it. She realized it. And and that was my life growing up in Ridgewood, Queens,
Amen.
being the token Italian guy with all these German guys,
I understand.
lily white, working class, and that's what happened. It was only when
Amen.
I went to St. Francis Prep that I interacted with black guys, and we
Amen.
became friends. Vinny
Good.
Scott, that was always was always getting us to think about issues that we really
Right.
didn't want to think about. But I mean, we were able. It was because of my parents with their
Amen.
foibles. that I was able to uh, uh, come to grips with that. And I'd like you to maybe speak to that.
Well, again, we were talking before we came on the
Sure,
air, and you have such a great heart. You have such a great spirit, and again, you're a byproduct of your mom and your dad. And likewise with me, my
sure,
parents taught us how to treat each other. And what I tell people, and especially recently, there's a verse in the Bible, and whether you're religious or not, you can take this one nugget and it can help us navigate these waters that we're in right now. Matthew 7:12. Everybody knows the golden rule. I had to do a talk a
yes,
few weeks ago with some young people. It's a water park in my community, and I did their orientation for the summer program. And I asked the kids, I said, listen, what's the golden rule? What is this? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And everybody yelled out, the golden rule. I said, if I treat John like I want to be treated, and John treats me like he wants to be treated, everybody is good.
I
You
couldn't
know?
agree with you more.
And so a lot of times, and to those Pollyannas, to those people that criticize us for wearing rose-colored glasses, the solutions a lot of time are cliche. We are our brother's keeper, and I'm going to treat you like I want to be treated. And so I just appreciate your heart and the format for this program. We can sit down and have conversations and be gentlemanly about it, and
Right.
and express our thoughts and our ideas, and even the Bible also suggests, let us reason together, saith the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And so
Yes.
I love talking. I love communicating. I love having a conversation with people. And I love learning.
Yes. Oh, me too. Me too. And what I get frustrated about is the how in today's culture, if you don't toe the line or you don't espouse what everybody is in fact saying,
Right.
your name called. And what I
Right.
try to do is try to look at the other side of the topic, or
That's right. That's exactly.
consider a different point of view. All right. And I'm gonna get I might get a little controversial here, but let me get controversial.
Yeah, you go
Uh,
ahead. Go ahead.
uh, I don't have a racist um, bone in my body. Okay,
Okay.
I
Okay.
can say that.
Okay.
But when I have to hear how racist everything is, it unsettles me because I don't feel they're talking to me.
I
Okay,
understand.
and
I
if
understand.
if I do ever communicate that, you please let me know and I will apologize. I'm not an idiot.
I
You
understand.
know,
I
I mean,
understand. I understand.
that's where I am getting goosebumps up the arm here, because
Awesome.
I go out of my way not to make people feel comfortable, not to make people feel uncomfortable. And so that's coming right from the heart. You mentioned that, so I wanted to get that out.
Well, I can tell your heart. And in our society, that's a hot button topic right now. And one of
Sure.
the posts that I put on Instagram is, let's just stop saying I'm not racist and do this. Just pause for a moment and just understand, because when you say I'm not racist, what the person hears, and it's received not from the heart that way you're saying it. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So when you're saying I'm not racist, it's sort of like telling a sick person I'm not sick.
Very
And
good.
so Yeah. So
I get it.
while you are being as honest and earnest as you can, the sick person is receiving a different message.
Yes. Yeah,
You see what
no.
I'm saying? And
Hey,
so
that's why I
yeah,
brought it up. Because I felt that there was something not right about that, but I wanted to get it out, and I wanted
right.
to have a conversation.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we a mutual friend of ours, we were having that same conversation, and I was on another Facebook Live about 8 weeks ago, and he's a good friend of mine, and he was coming from where you're coming from. What he was basically saying, Brother John, he said, Dr. Sims, it hurts my heart when I'm being generalized with the population of races because I'm not. I said, well, I feel you. I know you're not. And we've
Right.
talked offline. I know you're not. And John, I can say, and having only known you for 40 minutes, I know you're not racist. But what the issue is not with you per se, is with the spirit of racism. It's not with you. So I've had a lot of conversations about that, but these are conversations, and I believe change is happening. It's gonna be slow, but change is happening because I'm telling you, we all in this to win this. And so we gotta get along with each other. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I would we need more people like you and I just spreading the good news of brotherhood, love, and hey man, we teamwork makes the dream work.
You see, I believe that if people are big enough to say, I'm sorry,
A
you know, I did not mean that. I
Amen.
didn't mean for that. When I was in the monks and somebody said, um, that person is attractive for a blank woman.
Okay,
Okay.
I
Uh,
hear.
you know, I don't think that brother was racist. They were insensitive. I don't think they meant anything by it, but they should say, I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry if I
Exactly.
offended you. In the
That, and
same way,
I'm glad.
some of my
Yeah,
best friends are blanks. Some of my best friends are Italians. You can't, that's different
yeah,
from calling somebody a blank. That's
right.
different, but
That's
it's
right.
still
It's and I like the way you just said that, insensitive, and our society now, a lot of times just insensitivity is just way up and sensitivity is way down, and we're trying to bridge that gap now, and it's painful right now. It's
right,
this season that we're in is pretty painful,
right.
but it has to happen for healing to occur, and it's going to take some time. It's going to take some work. It's going to take, and again, it boils down to, you got to love yourself, and you got to be comfortable with being you to have those difficult conversations, and healing is happening. It's just going to take a lot of time and a lot of work.
Well, I'm around for it, and I know you're around for it. This is Brand Talk with Dr. Walter Sims, the man of all things purposeful.
That's right.
So you really, what you really did, well, I guess you did, but I like to always come around to
Okay.
what's your brand,
Right.
okay? And uh, you we talked a little bit about you being the purposeful, but
Yeah.
what do you really enjoy the most? If you ask, if you would have asked Frank Sinatra, he would have said, I like singing. I like
Right.
acting, but I love singing. So, of all the things that you do,
Oh,
Does
that's good.
does it does it really get you going when you're in front of your your church uh, congregation and doing a fiery motivational speak? Is it when you're on Brand Talk talking to Tantillo, the funny guy with the hat and the bow
And the bow tie.
tie? What is it? What do you enjoy doing the most?
Um, since you and I have similar backgrounds, and the Bible is one of our favorite books, I'm gonna just talk about him since he's at the
Oh,
centerpiece of this favorite book, Jesus. Most of his ministry, John, and I'm gonna answer the question this way: most of his ministry was outside the church, one on one. And what fires me up, and I have a client this afternoon in a couple of hours. What fires me up more than anything is working with people one on one. I do have a private group. I have a cluster of people that are like minded. I have a membership, but when I can get on Zoom or when I can get on a call or when I meet someone for a cup of coffee and we're talking about their life, it gives me no greater joy than to share someone's life with them, and they have the confidence in me to share their vulnerabilities and their fears and their hurts and the things that are holding them back. And when we get to a place and when I ask those questions and I coach them, I give them the homework, and when they get on the phone with me and say, Dr. Sims, I get it.
yes.
There's no greater, I'm getting goosebumps now, John. There's no greater joy for me that when one of my clients tells me that Dr. Sims, I get it. Dr. Sims, I'm living my life on purpose. Dr. Sims, you are the reason that my life I got a turnaround.
Wow.
I'm working with a married couple right now, and I stopped by to give them a pep talk the other night, and they both text me and said, Dr. Sims, we cannot thank you enough for just coming and checking on us to see how we were doing. We spent 3 months together, and they celebrated their 8th anniversary, and we renewed vows. And just to share people's life with them, John, there's no greater joy. You know what I'm saying? And
I know
that's what
exactly
that's
what
what
you're saying.
yeah, that's what fires me up, brother John.
Oh man, you're such as we say in Jewish circles, you're such a mensch. Who knew?
Oh, I'm humble, man. I'm humble. Thank you,
Oh,
John.
geez, it's just a wonderful, wonderful conversation. What do you think is your most unique characteristic? What is the thing that I would be most surprised to learn about you after, um, let's say, 6 months? What
Well,
would I? What would I? What would you know? What we're doing now is we're shooting the breeze. It's
yeah,
really positive. Where when you come to New York, I'm buying you dinner, whether or not you like it or not. We're gonna
I'm
go to
there.
Patsy's. I'm gonna introduce you to Sal. I'm gonna
Okay,
introduce you to all my friends. Maybe we'll
okay.
get Richard Pryor to come with us. We're gonna have some fun. Okay,
I look forward
but
to it.
what am I gonna find? Let's say 6 months from now, and you're gonna say, "Wow, I didn't," as Johnny Carson used to say, "I did not know that."
Well, you that is so funny that you asked that question. Yesterday I did a voiceover for a video production of The Lion King, and I was in the how I got the opportunity. I was in the grocery store. I was in Publix, and this lady was on the aisle. She was in the frozen foods, and I'm walking, and I probably was singing, and she stopped. And she said that voice. And we started talking. She said, we working on The Lion King. And I did the rendition of Mufasa talking to Simba. And she was like, wow. And she just messaged me Monday to help them get ready for the production Sunday. So I did some narrations and they recorded me yesterday. But I'm saying all that to say what you're going to say when we sit down to that steak dinner in 6 months, in New York, you're going to look at me and say, Dr. Sims, you're the same that I saw on my radio show,
Oh
my
man.
live talk. You're the same. And the great thing about me, John, is that I'm the same, whether it's virtual or it's live, wherever you see me, I'm gonna be me. I don't put on airs. I don't try to impress anybody with big words or my knowledge. I'm the same. Wherever you see me, I'm the same. And so that's what people really love about me, that how consistent my character is.
Well, what I did not mean to communicate is that you were different as much as everybody has layers. And what I'm not saying is that you would be different. It's just
Right.
the peeling of the onion of
I
finding
understand. I'm like
out
Fred.
something. Like, for example, with this bigger than life personality, I can be shy. I mean, people will
Okay.
say, "You're not shy. What are you talking about? You're not shy." Rah, rah, rah. But I can be shy. There are times when I am very contemplative, and where I learned that from
Okay.
was from the Franciscans. From 5 to 6 every day, there was meditation, and
Amen.
you would be reflective. Okay, so you're not
Right.
always yelling, screaming, and carrying on. Okay,
I'm like,
so that's my other side. But go
that's
ahead.
good. That believe it or not, I was picking up a rental car a couple of weeks ago, and my good friend Courtney, we were just talking, and she said, Dr. Sim, now I'm gonna tell you something. Now you probably know this, Dr. Sim, you just too much. I said, I know, I get that all the time. But to your point, I do. I have a quiet side. I play video games. I have a slew of friends. There's another side of me. I have a slew of friends in the virtual world. We play online NFL football together, and we're looking forward to the new game coming out. And I'm looking forward to the new gaming system, the PS5, coming out around November. I'm a geek. I am a geek. I'm waiting on the Note 20 to come out. I have a Note 10 now. I'm waiting for the Note 20 to come out. Since I'm an electrical engineer, I love gadgets. And
I was going there. You took it right out, but I got a call. I got an email from Colleen saying, "Let Dr. Sims talk. You're talking too much." So that's what I'm trying. So you're doing it, man. You're doing it. You're doing it. Okay.
we having so much fun. I am having so much fun. And also, hold on.
Go ahead.
I am also a Nikon.
Yes.
I love photography. I love videography, and so the live streaming, I got the setup. So when I was able to come on with you, I got my light, I got my microphone. So this is another side of me. I love gadgets. I am a gadget man.
Well, the electrical engineering, of course, the electrical engineering is going to determine that, and I have to be a little bit more gadget oriented because my grandson Donovan is all Fortnite and all video games, and he's he's challenging me. And why I feel like accepted by him is when he has a computer problem, he'll ask me to solve the problem. So it's not he's not the if he can't solve it, he will in fact ask me. He was having problems. I bought him a snowball microphone. So that he all right, and it was giving him some technical difficulties. I said, this is what happens when your mic freezes. You have to shut down your whole system and reboot it so that it accepts it again. And
that's exactly right.
And so he learned something from me. But go ahead.
feel good. That makes you feel good. Then it pop
Yeah,
off.
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not completely ancient. I'm ancient,
That's
but
good.
I'm not all that kind of ancient. So,
Yeah, we have a lot. We have a lot in common, John.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. And are you sure you're not Sicilian? Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but I used to get teased. I hope this doesn't come off the wrong way. Let me see.
Go ahead. Go
But
ahead. Go ahead.
Sicilians, Sicily is right near North Africa. So
Right.
there was,
Right.
there was some rumors that Sicilians, there was black blood in
Okay.
Sicilians because of all of
Okay.
that that's going on. So I had
Understand.
my you're gonna love this. So I had my DNA traced, and lo and behold, I'm somewhat I have common genes with
Okay.
Nelson Mandela.
Oh,
So I'm just I feel so happy about that. Now
you feel
I don't believe
connected.
it
You feel
yet.
connected. You feel connected.
I'm getting. Pardon me. I'm sorry.
I say you feel connected.
I do. I So what I got to do as I'm checking it out, I have it out with 23 and Me, so that's the next one. But I did want to bring that up. That anyway, I maybe I shouldn't have brought it up, but
You you
you're
fine, John.
listening.
I'm telling you, you all right, John. You all right, John.
Okay, okay, dear friend. You're listening to Dr. Walter Sims, All Things Purposeful. This is Brand Talk. And in the last few minutes that we have, could you imagine that it
Wow.
went so quick? We only got another 4 minutes here. And
What?
I want to find out what
Okay.
are your latest projects? Uh, Not only are the books, but what are you going to be speaking somewhere? Where is that all happening, and where can we get you in terms of your website and all of that?
Okay. Well, real quickly, my latest project. As a matter of fact, my proofreader, my editor, called a few minutes ago, and we're working on my next book, my sixth book,
Um,
Finding Christ in Crisis, a practical guide of staying focused in challenging times. So that's my latest project. You can find me on drwaltersims.tv. I have a YouTube channel. I broadcast daily. I'm the pastor of a virtual church. I'm a pastor of a real church. And so we're just coming up to speed, getting everybody back into the building. But since we've been shut down, I have Bible study
sure.
on Wednesday nights. I pastor, I preach on Sunday mornings. We started a virtual church 5 years ago. And so it evolved into your virtual church. We got t-shirts made. I'm going to pick up my t-shirt tomorrow. So just follow me at drwaltersims.com. I tell everybody I'm Googleicious now. So when you type in Dr. Walter Sims, all my information will pop up.
Googleicious. I love it. I love it. And with the few minutes we have, I'm gonna get personal with you. What kind of
Okay.
music do you like to listen to?
Well, people laugh at me, John. I love gospel. That's my go-to.
Sure.
But I love 50 Cents. I love Fetty Wap. I
I
love
love
hip
it.
hop. I'm old school. I love old school. Okay, you're gonna laugh at me, and my people laugh at me. I have a new obsession, and they're about to shut it down, but I have a new obsession called TikTok. And
Right. I'm not. No. I'm trying to get into it myself. I want
I,
Donovan and I to get into it.
good.
But
And so I love all kind of music, man.
yeah.
This is funny. 30 seconds. This is funny. I was my very first cruise. I was a chaperone for a senior class at a private school. And so on the Tuesday, they have the Harry hairy man chest competition, and to win the competition, I had to sing "When a Man Loves a Woman," and I
Oh,
won the competition.
well, I can imagine a past of singing that. You're unbelievable. You are unbelievable. Well, I gotta be. See, I'm a different generation. I love
Yes, sir.
Motown.
Oh,
Motown. I mean, that just. I can't say enough of
yeah,
Motown.
yeah.
And
That's
oh geez,
yeah.
I just Barry White, and I
Oh,
mean
yeah.
all those great uh,
Oh man. Oh man. That was a good era. That was a good
yeah,
era.
yeah. Well, thank you so much for being my guest. Come back when that new book is out,
I
and
will. Thank you. Thank
okay,
you. Thank you. I
anytime you
will.
want to come on, you got it, brother.
Oh,
Okay,
thank you.
and
And again, thank
you
you for
must
having me today.
let me know when you're in New York, because I got so many friends I'm going to introduce you to, brother.
Oh, thank you, John. I'm humble, man. Thank you again for this opportunity, my friend.
Yeah, well, feelings is mutual. So thanks, folks, for listening to Dr. Walter Sims, All Things Purposeful, here on Brand Talk, another way to talk. And we'll see you next Thursday, 3 o'clock, with another grand brand. This is Dr. John Tantillo reminding you to go brand yourself.